And, you know, as always, there's been a wide range of reactions to all this, with one of the most viral examples being Hasan Piker on Piers Morgan. Because while speaking about the protest, he had this to say when asked if these protests were just performative.
Who's gonna tell this dense-ass motherfucker that his own tax money goes to genocide? What is this? XQ fully agrees with Asmongold's take that blocking the roads in protest to Palestine is a sign of entitlement. Most people are trying to go to work that don't know about politics. Well, it's now your movement.
In my opinion, it causes more damage. Most people that are in the streets in their car trying to get to work, and if they're like on the edge, you don't really know much about politics.
There's something so funny about these dudes literally not chirping about, not speaking about Palestine at all for the most part, only to chime in when they're like, man, really fucked up that these guys are protesting against ethnic cleansing. Why are two guys who stay home more than anyone worried about traffic? I don't, well, this is just, you know.
They're just trying to make meets end. They just trying to work like a low-paying job, stuck in traffic, and they're like kind of in the middle of this conflict they don't really know much about, and they see a bunch of people with flags that are sitting down them, and they can't get to work, and they lose money, and they won't be able to make ends meet and feed their family because they can't get to work. What do you think these guys are gonna think?
It's just so noble.
I don't give a fuck. Not at that point. I'm gonna be honest.
Dude, he knows how to do good protest.
Yeah.
Okay? He does. He does, man. He does know. Guys, you don't understand. He's not just chirping about anti-genocide protesters and you know, just sitting on a pile of money talking about the plight of the average man, okay, and using that against ongoing genocide protests. He's actually telling you what the best methods of protests are, because he is, of course, very knowledgeable about how these things work, okay?
Honest with you, that's in your movement. Like, y'all in the streets. And that's not what I think. What people are thinking in the middle of the street, they're like, I don't even know about this conflict, but now I'm biased against you guys because you're my life over, you morons. And that's just how humans react to things.
That's,
in my opinion.
I don't think.
What are you gonna say?
I'll never be critical of protest movements or the people organizing them or anything like that. And I don't think that you should be, not you, I'm saying like people generally. I think that you should do that internally, like when you're part of an organization. I think that's positive, right? If you're just chirping about it online, it actually doesn't do anything. Not that he is doing anything like this. I think, you know, optics is something that people think about when they plan protests, and they're doing something for a reason. If they're making a stoppage, that there was a reason and planning that goes behind that, you know? If I don't know if people have read How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's a good book about the tactics that they used, that they've used in the UK for some of their environmental stuff there, and, you know, what works, what doesn't work. I don't know. It's a common thing that people say. They're like, oh, if people are, you know, if their day is messed up because of a protest, then they're going to be pro-genocide, I guess.
I want to, is this too much?
What is it? No. Don't do that.
I kind of want to put it, I'm not going to.
Don't do that.
You don't think I should do this?
No, no.
And be like, listen, dude, he knows all about what's going on in Gaza. He reacted to it. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's really funny because I think in his response to everybody yelling at him, he was like, well, Hasan is covering Gaza too. He was like, why is nobody getting mad at the political commentator raising at the time $1.3 million in funds for the Palestinians? Like, why don't they have the same smoke for him?
Wait.
Twitter likes you right now. Don't make him mad at you instantly.
This isn't fake. This is a real image.
Oh, no, this is a real image. Yeah.
Just soy facing war crimes.
Anyway, protest is meant to be disruptive. Okay. What? Include this? No, stop. I'm not going to do it. I don't really give a shit one way or the other. I'm sorry. I don't care. I legitimately don't care. Okay. I'm not talking about what did XQ play? Overwatch. I'm not talking about World of Warcraft. I feel like it's ridiculous. He's talking about strikes too, union strikes, abortion rights. They mess up your day. I know. Even if you don't tweet it, it's already clipped and sent to him to react later. So there's going to be drama. I mean, I'm sure of it.
Please don't send any drama my way. I'm just a small bean.
Yeah. The real take here, if you really want to be annoying, why am I giving them advice on how to be more annoying? I'm not going to do it. Never mind.
Go ahead.
The real annoying one is when it's like, dude, don't you think that you're stopping when you stop traffic? What if you're stopping traffic for a husband sending their wife to chemotherapy?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go extra hard and be like, what if this protest is stopping someone from reaching life-saving medication in that moment?
An ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Except you can't say the ambulance on the way to the hospital because obviously they do have, it's one, illegal to stop an ambulance, and two, protesters that do stop traffic have obvious protocols for that sort of thing. But these guys don't personally understand those working class individuals who are late on their way to work that will get mad should be infinitely more mad that their tax dollars are going to fund this genocide. Hello. Hey, are you mad about the pothole? Are you mad about the fact that you don't have adequate health care? Guess what? It's because we're spending it on Israel's genocide. Okay? Sorry, sucks to suck. No health care for you.
But also just, I mean, Palestinian liberation is also tied to every other issue as well. Like the fact that you are going to your shitty paying job with bad or no benefits, you will go bankrupt if you have healthcare. These things are all connected. You know, it's sometimes it's hard to see those connections when you have your hand really, really close to your face.
A bunch of these protests are illegal anyway. Why would it matter that stopping ambulances is illegal? What do you mean? Why would it matter? Why is it that people that have these opinions, these like very, very strong convictions, never actually look to how these protests work? Protests are not illegal. Stopping an ambulance is illegal, but it doesn't even matter because guess what, dude? They do have a protocol for this specifically. I hope you understand that. They have a protocol for this. Every single organized movement that has ever stopped traffic in any capacity will literally open up a cordon specifically for emergency services. You would know that if you actually cared about it instead of, you know, just chirping about these dudes who are doing something that makes you upset because they're taking action. That is one thing. What do you mean that is one thing? That's the most important thing. What the f are you talking about? That's your main point of contention.
The school and government officials seek to stop student encampments like we saw at Columbia, with one of the biggest new protests being yesterday at UT Austin, where we saw more than 500 students walk out of class in support of Palestine. And just like at every other protest of this nature, one of the biggest things that they wanted was for the school to divest from companies working with Israel or Israeli firms. Now with this, campus police were quick to try to confront the group and they tried to open negotiations, but reportedly that failed within half an hour, with one officer telling a student that he'd be the first to go. And he made good on that promise, with that student being the first to be arrested. That was then followed up by police getting backup from state troopers and more students getting handcuffed and facing criminal trespassing charges and police forming a line to push them back. They then regrouped at another part of the campus, and once again, there was a confrontation with police where protesters were forced off the lawn that they were trying to occupy. And in the end, at least 34 people were arrested, 2 of which were members of the media. You know, a big thing here is that UT Austin, that's just a single example of how much schools have been cracking down on students. Or we saw the same thing happen at
Guys, famously, when you bully and beat the shit out of students that are protesting against war and a genocide, they go, oh, never mind. I guess we should stop now. That's historically what has always happened. It doesn't inevitably grow the movement and galvanize the protesters and legitimize, once again, and then put a domestic face to that same fascism for them at all.
Also, from what I recall, the people attacking the students are on the right side of history.
Yeah. Everybody always looks back at that and goes, wow, it's so cool. They should have beat them harder.
And, you know, as always, there's been a wide range of reactions to all this, with one of the most viral examples being Hasan Piker on Piers Morgan. Because while speaking about the protests, he had this to say when asked if these protests were just performative.
Absolutely not. I don't think that, I mean, all protests are technically performative, obviously, but there's a very clear-cut goal. That is why they're trying to very clearly cause a little bit of a disruption and engage in.
But are you comfortable? Okay, but are you comfortable,
the most American thing you can do?
Are you comfortable with the ones who are seen chanting support for Hamas or chanting about Intifada?
I am perfectly comfortable with people chanting about the Intifada. As far as the Hamas thing goes, any kind of protest is always going to have a litany of random people, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. You have to look at the actual tangible goals that the protest movement is stating they're interested in. And I think you will agree with me on this, Piers. I think those goals are pretty valid overall. I think that they want to, one, recenter the attention to the genocide that is ongoing in Gaza, and 2, demand that their tuition dollars do not go to operations in Israel.
Look at this. Look at this new emote they made. Chirping.
We also saw criticism over how the university presented the demonstration, with officials claiming the tough response was needed because the protesters threatened to cancel classes yesterday. But in that Instagram post from Tuesday, the Palestine Solidarity Committee also had details that they encouraged students to walk out of class, not that they were going to forcibly shut down the school. We also saw a lot of faculty members at UT Austin coming out to condemn the school's response, saying, "We faculty at UT Austin condemn President Jay Hartzell and other administrative leaders' decision to invite city police as well as state troopers from across the state to our campus today in response to a planned peaceful event by our students." Right, with then many of these schools having more planned protests for today. And then, buying tickets for literally anything has become...
Okay, it's pretty good coverage from Philly D on this. I'm from a third world country, and I never dream of cops showing up this heavily armed to a protest. I mean, our cops are that armed all the time. They're that armed at a police stop. You know what I mean?